What's up, everybody? Welcome. Uh, this is a new podcast that I'm doing. My name is Erik T. Jackson, uh, and I have a podcast out, Finally Financial, and me and my boy decided to do another podcast on different topics that interest us. And my name is Jackson, and his name is Jackson. So the podcast, naturally, we said we'll just title it Jackson versus Jackson. So I like that title. My boy is Ajay Jackson. Let me tell you a little about myself. Uh, Graduated Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches, Texas. Played a little football there. Uh, Moved to Houston shortly after graduating. Uh, Worked in the music industry for a while. Then I got into teaching and coaching. So I've been teaching and coaching for about 15 years. Uh, and so this podcast, we're going to focus on uh, a, an array of different topics. A lot will be sports, pro sports, college sports, high school sports, because I love high school sports. And then we'll discuss maybe some politics, uh, you know, different things that my boy is interested in, whatever those are. Um, but today, we're going to talk uh, pro sports and some other things. But let me introduce you guys to Ajay Jackson. And Ajay, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, buddy.
Yeah, so my name is Ajay Jackson. I spell it capital A-J-A-Y. It means victorious. So I consider myself a victorious coach. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey, originally born and raised. I'm a graduate of North Carolina Central University, the Eagles, in Durham, North Carolina, same town as Duke, across town from Duke University. I made my way to Texas 26 years ago. I transferred working for Continental Airlines at the time, transitioned into teaching and coaching. Have several years of teaching and coaching experience. Currently, I serve as a special education manager for 9th grade through 12th grade students in the Aldine Independent School District. So like Jackson, I love sports. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan for the NFL. Love college sports. I have a few young men that I coach that are coming out of college. One is at University of Texas. Maybe we get a chance to talk about him at some point. One is at Jackson's alma mater. I coached a kid there that's going to be a senior, defensive end. So those are the two major prospects. Got another kid that graduated from my school. He's at University South Alabama, University of South Alabama, big offensive lineman. So keeping our eyes on the kids that came, through our schools, and looking forward to this podcast. I think it's a great idea that Jackson and I have come up with.
Absolutely. So, my brother, that let's jump into it. Okay. So, my first topic that I wanted to talk to you about is the Houston Texans. Since it's local, we're from Houston, so I love the Texans. I'm a diehard fan. I'm a homer. I try to be honest with myself though about the coaching staff, the players, management, all of that. But I still love them. When they had Bill O'Brien, I wanted to switch teams. I never would, but I definitely wanted to because he drove me nuts with a lot of the things he did. I feel a lot better about Lovie Smith and this regime. Even David Culley, man, I felt better about him than I did Bill O'Brien. That's saying something. But I feel really good about Lovie Smith and Nick Caserio and the direction that the Texans are heading. So with that said, let's discuss Davis Mills, and is he a franchise quarterback or not. And this is purely opinion because there's really no way of knowing right now. But from the little that we've seen last year and what we've seen this off season, or what we've heard that everybody talk about in regards to him this off season, do you and I'll go first, but do we think that he is a franchise quarterback for the Houston Texans? And let me describe a franchise quarterback is someone that plays starts for the Texans for the next 10 years at least. If it's eight to 10 years, that's a franchise quarterback, in my opinion. And I will have to say yes. I believe Davis Mills is a franchise quarterback. And the reason being is that I hear nothing but franchise type things regarding him, like things like his leadership qualities, things like he's such a student of the game. In order to be on this level, you've got to be able to make the throws and know the playbook and things like that. But that's not really what makes a franchise quarterback, in my opinion. In my opinion, a franchise quarterback is somebody that's gonna rally the troops. That's somebody that's gonna stay even keel all the time. Somebody that's gonna will you to victory. Like there were times last year, his rookie year, where he willed this team. It wasn't very good, so he couldn't will them to a lot of victories. But I felt like he was playing well enough the second time he came back to be seen as someone that could start off this season, right? And once the offseason hit, the players, seeing how he's flying all over the country, working out with all his different receivers. Coach Lovie Smith is gushing over this guy. Even his college coach, Coach Shaw from Stanford, he made some bold statements. And you might say, well, he's a college coach. They all make bold statements. They don't all make bold statements. They don't all want to put their foot in their mouth because they could be wrong. Coach Shaw made some statements about this guy that let me feel a lot better about him being drafted, even though he was drafted in the third round. I felt a lot better about him being drafted. And then the things that he did, those last 5 or 6 starts that he had sort of reminded me of, and don't laugh, do not laugh. He had like a 5 or 6 game stretch. While they didn't add up yardage wise, they sort of reminded me of Deshaun Watson's 6 game stretch, his rookie year, where he was so dynamic, right? And Davis Mills wasn't dynamic, but he showed you what he could be and how he could win and lead this team. And I felt like that's what I thought of. I said, man, he's not dynamic like Deshaun, don't get me wrong, but I did feel like we have something here. He wasn't a first rounder. He was a third rounder. And I felt like a third rounder being put in the fire like that and responding the way I expected him to respond the way he did the first 5 games he started, which was very poor because he had no team around him and he was just learning the playbook. And they threw him in there. However, the second time around, I didn't expect him to play that well. And that's the difference, expectations, and now having seen that and just thinking back on everything that I've heard people say about him, I really feel like this guy can be our franchise quarterback. Now you go, coach.
Well, as in any sport, football, basketball, any team sport, you got to have a good team around you, right?
Absolutely.
He played major college football, so he played against some good teams. He played in the
Pac-12.
Yep, Pac-12. So he played some good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't play the SEC though, and everybody know that's probably the best football. So,
right.
So I'd have to say that he played probably on a scale of 1 to 10. He probably played 7 to 8 talent.
Yeah.
Now he didn't torch the league in college, right? That's why he was a 3rd round pick. He was the first pick for the Texans, right? But he was a 3rd round pick. Physically, I think he's got the physical tools for NFL quarterback that they like. What, he's about 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", somewhere around in there.
Yep.
Got a really good strong arm. He's not fancy feet guy, but he can slide in the pocket. So they're going to have to protect him up the middle because they're going to blitz him. I would blitz him because they know I would blitz him up the middle and around like Tom Brady. He got to do like Tom Brady. They got to protect him like Tom Brady, meaning that they do not let anybody, they get the big lineman in the middle of the field. They do not let guys come up the middle of the field. Now, if they blitz him off the end, if he can see him, he might can step up a little bit.
Yep.
He's going to have a team around him. I'm looking at his rookie year as a wash. He got thrown in there. New coach, rookie coach at that.
Yep.
Knew everything, right? And hey, they just threw him in there. He was the next guy. They threw him in there. So I look at this year 2. He's got to make a jump.
Yeah.
All right. If he could get them to the playoffs, oh my God, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
But again, it's not just on him. But like you talked about, a franchise quarterback is probably going to win you like 3 or 4 games when they got the ball with 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the game, and they give you the ball and you got to drive and you got to make those throws that got to be accurate so your receivers can make that play. Right. So I think it's going to be very, very hard for me to say, is he or is he not right now? I definitely want to watch him this year, see what kind of team they put around him. Because last year, man, they just cracked the eggs and just threw them in the pan and say, hey. So he got baptized by water and fire last year.
And I forgot to mention, he had a head coach that I believe in certain instances hindered him.
Didn't have experience.
Yeah, with different.
I mean, you had two inexperienced people playing and the team and all that. That's what I'm saying. I also think like as college coach, he can't say anything but good things because it just would look bad. He recruited them. That's my opinion. He recruited them. You can't say, hey man, he wasn't that good.
He didn't have to step out on a limb like that.
Right. But what I'm saying is they put the microphone in his face and said, what do you think about Davis Mills? He can't say, well, he's not that good. I don't think he can't say that.
You can Jack, say, I feel good about Davis Mills. He went beyond that.
Right. But I'm saying he's gonna have to say positive stuff because his recruiting down the line is, oh man, he bashed his, so he gotta say, that's just like you coaching your own son. And then you turn around and say, yeah, what you gonna say? You got to say, hey, well, yeah, I think he can do this and do that. Even if you didn't know he could do it or not, you're gonna have to say some nice things, right? So I'm gonna say from that standpoint, that the coach, that's just a tough position to put somebody in. Do you think he's a franchise quarterback, Coach Shaw? Well, yeah, I think, I mean, so I'm not going to take that as much as me watching what I see and they also listening to the pundits. Now I don't think he's no scrub. I really don't, because I think he's played good college football.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, if they can put the right team around him, I think he can be as good or even better. And we'll see in the next couple of years for all those guys that got drafted, at these small colleges, but they had the wow factor, feet, could run, throw. So we'll see. That's what I want to see. I want to see if he's going to be as good as the San Francisco quarterback that was drafted.
That was my next question to you.
Okay.
I have something in my head.
Yes.
I want to hear your thought. Like, who does he remind you of that's in the league right now? It could be an older quarterback or a younger quarterback.
Man, I think the first person that jumps out at me is Phillip Rivers. And the reason why I say that is big, tall, strong, throwing guy, can't run, right? But can move left or right in the pocket. I think Phillip Rivers was a little bit better only because he started as a freshman when he was at North Carolina State. I remember seeing him in a bowl game, man, when they played some .com bowl. So
Rivers is a Hall of Famer. So you're telling me that Davis Mills reminds you of a Hall of Famer?
Well, for me, like I told you, the jury, like I said, the jury's out for a Hall of Fame of Phillip Rivers, in my opinion. He gonna probably get in.
I think he's first ballot.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you like this: hadn't won enough. Me and you had this debate before. Hasn't won enough big games, in my opinion. Number one. Number two, when I said about Phillip Rivers, this is one thing I've always said about him. He's gonna have the numbers and stats, so he's gonna be like a Dan Fouts, right? So he's gonna throw for 60,000. I don't know how many, but the big wins are not there. Are they gonna talk about, he played on a broken leg and all that?
And I believe Dan Fouts got in on his first try.
Yeah, but at that point in time, I'm gonna say this, right? They scrutinize a little bit differently now. But he's probably gonna get in because of the yardage and stuff. But I always say this, right? They lost a lot of games, and he threw for 300 yards. He got a lot of 300-yard games. But let's pull the stats to see how many games that he lost throwing for 300 yards. He lost a ton of games he threw for 300 yards.
And a lot of that is the defense, bro. You can't keep having them being shootouts every week. He just can't keep letting people score 34 and 35 and expect to have a good winning percentage. And that was my thought when he was quarterbacking. Like, they never gave him a great defense. He may have had a solid defense a few years in there, but never a great one. And that's what you win championships with. Eli Manning had great defenses.
He's a good quarterback. He'll probably get it. I don't know if he's a first ballot. He's going to get in because all the yards he threw. Don't forget he played with LaDainian Tomlinson. So that's going to blow his stats up when he throws down. Throws the route outside and let the guy go. So he'll get credit. He'll get credit for a 3-yard pass and Damian Thomason run for 80 yards for a touchdown, and they'll say Phillip Rivers threw an 80-yard touchdown pass.
So we done got off track. We talking about San Diego. We should be talking about the Texans. So Phillip Rivers is who you compare Davis Mills to. So my comparison, oddly enough, is another Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert.
Oh, okay.
That's who I compare him to.
Okay.
And Justin Herbert came out the chute though, playing very well though. That's what he didn't. But I feel like the way Justin Herbert plays and the way he's played down the stretch and how he can play moving forward is very similar. So that's who I would think that he resembles in today's game. Now, let's run down. So let's get this first. Let me get your answer. I'll give you mine. What do you think the over-under is for wins this year for the Houston Texans? Mine, I'll go first. The over-under 7.5. I'll say over and go with 8 wins. I think the Texans will be 8-9. What do you say?
I think Vegas had 6.5 wins.
What do you say, son?
Right. I'm just giving you my for what I've read.
Oh, really?
Vegas says 6.5. I really hope they beat that. And I'm not a betting man, but if I had $5 to throw on there, I would throw it on there. I guess I would say Homer, but I think that Lovie Smith, with his experience, Super Bowl coach, made it to the Super Bowl, has coached some really outstanding people. He knows the NFL. Nobody can't say he doesn't know the NFL. He knows players.
Right.
So I think that's the advantage that the Texans have this year.
So
I'm sure he had some hand in some of the personnel decisions. So I'm gonna say 7 and what's that? 7-10, Jack.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to see them at least win 7 games.
Okay. Well, let's look at it. So I have them at 8-9. You have them at what, 7-10?
Yes.
All right. Now, so you have them under 7.5 of my over under, and I have them over. So let's look at their schedule and go down it week by week, and let's see where we both have them.
Make sure. Tell me who the home team is too now.
Okay. All right. So I'll say they're at this team or versus. Versus means we're the home team.
Right.
So week 1, September 11th, versus the Indianapolis Colts. I have that as a loss.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Let's go week 2 at the Denver Broncos. I have that as a loss.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Week 3 at the Chicago Bears. I have that as a win.
Yeah, I agree. I think they can win that game.
Week 4 versus the Chargers. So this is a home game. What do you have?
Loss. I think the Chargers are a lot better at quarterback.
I have it as a loss as well. No, I'm gonna change that to a win. We're at home. I feel like he can do everything Justin Herbert can do, and I feel like our defense is gonna be a lot better. So I'll have that as a win. All right. Week 5 at Jacksonville. What do you have?
I think they should be better than Jacksonville. I really do. Except I think I'm gonna give them a win on that.
Yep. I'll give them a win on the first Jacksonville game. Week 6 is a bye. Week 7 at the Las Vegas Raiders. I have that as a loss.
Yeah, I agree.
Week 8 versus the Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna say win.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them an opportunity to win. That's a home game for them.
That's a home game.
The only thing is that the Titans, I think, were they were a playoff team last year. So
yep, but they lost Ajay Brown.
Yeah,
the big stud, and I think by week 8, Derrick Henry might be fighting injuries. Yeah. I just think.
But they just were a playoff team, unless they drop off the map, that's the advantage they got.
Week 9, Philadelphia versus Philadelphia. So it's a home game. What do you have?
Yeah, Philly's gonna be tough. I got a loss.
Okay. Ooh, man, that's a home game. Our defense, Hurts is not a pocket passer. I feel like our defense can shut Hurts down. I'm gonna go win on that.
Okay.
Week 10 at the New York Giants. What do you have?
They can beat the Giants. I'll give them a win. Yep. Giants haven't proven anything in about 3 or 4 years.
Right. So do I. I have a win there. Week 11 they have versus the Washington Commandos or Commanders. What do you have
I think they can win that game. I'm gonna put them a
already?
win. I think they
Yeah.
can win that game. Washington hasn't
This
proved
is the thing.
anything.
Thinking they can win it and picking them to win it, two different things.
Yeah,
So
well, I'm saying I would I'd pick them to win. They're at
pick
home.
them to beat Washington at home. Yes, I
Yeah.
would. Week 12 at the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. What do you say?
I'm gonna say a loss only because they're away, they're playing away. And I think Miami's a little better team, in my opinion. I don't think by much, but I think that might be a 3-point game.
Yeah,
I got the Dolphins.
I agree. I think it's a push, but I'm saying they're on the road, so I'm gonna pick a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, week 13, they have the Cleveland Browns and possibly Deshaun or possibly no Deshaun. So maybe this is with Deshaun, a loss, without him, a win. What do you think?
Where they playing again? Is that at home?
It's versus, it's at home, yes.
At home? Man. A lot of controversy with Cleveland. I'm still gonna give. I think Cleveland's just a better overall team.
Yeah, I do too. That's a loss.
Yeah.
Week 14 at the Dallas Cowboys.
No, who I'm picking. No, I'm picking my Cowboys. That's a loss.
Yeah, I have them as a loss as well. Week 15 versus Kansas City. Kansas City comes to town.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I think that'll be a loss just because Kansas City is going to be a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a loss.
Yeah. So week 16 at the Tennessee Titans.
Whew. I gave them the first win against them.
Yep. So I got to give them this loss. I think they'll split. That's my thought. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a loss. So that's my 10 losses right there.
And it's on the road. Yeah. So they have two more games. They have Jacksonville versus Jacksonville.
I'll give them a win on that.
Yeah, me too. And then they have at the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm gonna say a win. I'm gonna give them a win. I think they may have a chance to split with the Colts. So I got 7 and 10.
Good. Yeah, you got no, but in your wins, if you're gonna give them a win on this one.
Well, let's go back. They
Go
play them
ahead.
on the first game. I think they'll split with them. I think that's possible. They can split with them.
I do too. Whether they win the first one and lose the second, or
Right.
or
Yeah, I think
lose
they
the
can
first
split.
one
But
and win the second.
I don't think the Colts are world beaters.
Right.
You know, they changing their quarterback. They're changing their quarterback again, aren't they?
No, they got Trevor Lawrence. They got the Golden Boy.
Hmm.
So this is my thing. But they
You're
don't.
talking about Jacksonville. I was talking about the Colts.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, the Colts have Matt Ryan. They sure do from Atlanta.
Hmm.
So
Okay, we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. Because
We up
I
against the
think,
clock, Jack.
I know. So with all the wins we have, I have 3, 7. I have 9 actually.
Yeah, and I got 7 and 10.
Yep, I picked two that I feel like that may be upsets. The Chargers and another one, but 8 and 9, 9 and 8. They're going to be right there, I believe. So, all right, good deal, man. So we are up against it. Hey, this has been great.